Hey guys, welcome back to HareBrained Whisky. Sorry we've been away for a couple of weeks. It's been kind of a hectic time around here with the holidays and all, but we're glad to be back. So as you can see, Matthew's not with me today. He had some other stuff going on, so you guys are just stuck with me. Hope you don't mind. So one of the big things you run into in the whiskey world is age statement versus non-age statement. Now, is that really a big deal? To me, I don't care. If it's good whiskey, it's good whiskey. Now, obviously, certain whiskeys are required to have age statements or are required to be of certain ages. That's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is, is it an 18 year? Is it a 12 year? Is it a 16 year? Or is it a non-age statement release, such as many of the Ardbegs and many bourbons, in fact? So, does that really matter? Well, it depends. So, for today, I went ahead and got two bottles. I've got Port Charlotte Scottish Barley. It is from Bruichladdich. It is 50% ABV, and it is a heavily peated Scotch. Now, to compare with that, I have Bruichladdich 10-year heavily peated Scotch, also 50% ABV. So we've got, other than maybe a difference in the barley, we've got effectively the same whiskey, except that one is age statement versus non-age statement. So we're just going to try them out and compare and see what the difference is, other than maybe the price. I love that sound. So there's always going to be some minor differences in any whiskey. Okay, so to be honest, I kind of prefer the pouring of the non-age statement. Just that longer neck makes it a little bit less messy. So on the non-age statement, so yeah, you get the peated notes right up front. You get that salt. You get that kind of smoky, but not overpowering. A little medicinal. And the malt does come through. So it's actually relatively well balanced for being heavily peated. But I wouldn't call it an aggressively peated. So on the palate, once again, that peat comes through. There's that brine. There's that medicinal note, kind of iodine, not that burnt tire or burnt rubber or what have you that you get from some others. There definitely is a sweetness that comes through. I believe that's from the malt that's actually making it through. So it's nice and smooth for what it is. It's not it's not thin at all. It's got a pretty good body to it. It rolls across the tongue, and it's got some oil to it, and it really does have a lot of flavor. I could be happy drinking on this pretty much any time, and I believe it runs around $40 to $50. I think about $50 in my area, which is the Kansas City region. So just to compare and contrast, we're going to go ahead and try the 10-year next. So once again, this is Bruichladdich's Port Charlotte 10-year. Okay, so on the nose, there's a little more of a fruity note. A lot of it seems to be a little more subtle, a little more rounded off, which does tend to happen with age. But it doesn't jump out of the glass on the nose as much as I would expect, and not nearly as much as the non-age statement does. So that opened it up a little bit. But yeah, it's almost like an apple or some sort of light fruit. there's a little bit more of that medicinal. It's actually coming through now. Now, the one thing that isn't fair is comparing heavily peated to heavily peated. The peat is going to kind of neutralize itself. Okay, so on the taste, very bright, floral. It doesn't seem to be as clingy, as oily, as dense as the non-age statement. It almost seems a little thinner. The smoke still comes through. The peat still comes through. That brine still comes through. But it's all a lot more mellow. It's not that it's uninteresting. It's not that it's not good. In fact, it's probably why so many people like a lot of the age statements. Is the one thing I've found, and that many of you've probably found, is that generally a lot of times the higher the age statement, such as with an 18-year or a 16-year versus say a 10-year or a non-age statement, is that a lot of those rough edges, those spiky bits, that alcohol burn, just those parts that are kind of uneven, have tended to be rounded off, a little more mellowed out, which makes for a smoother drinking whiskey for the average consumer. So I guess the way I would look at it is, if I was looking for a whiskey that I wanted to explore, that I wanted to really get into, that I wanted to find all the character and nuance, non-age statement might be my preferred way to go. Now, if I'm just looking for a beautiful dram that I can sit here and relax and enjoy while talking to a camera by myself, then, to be honest, the 10-year, not a bad way to go. So good, both of them. But like I said, realistically, it all comes down to your taste, your preference. But don't go out there and think that you need to go get a 20-year-old bottle of whatever, or a 15-year-old bottle of whatever, or that it has to have an age statement. I mean, if that's your thing, you go for it. But if you're just looking for a really enjoyable whiskey that may have a lot more character, flavor, and subtlety, then honestly, any non-age statement oftentimes is going to give you more bang for your buck, as far as just an amount of flavor, and it's going to be cheaper usually too. So that's all we got for today. I hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys like it. As always, we're happy to have you here, and hope that you like and subscribe. Tell your friends. In the meantime, between now and then, of course, here's to good friends, good times, and good whiskey. Cheers, guys.